welcome. This is our show, our new show, Local Community Collections. Welcome, Julie.
Hello there, hello.
My lovely co-host. And we're very pleased to welcome Brandon Hager to be with
Sammy.
us today. Just like Sammy. And but he's really cool, this Brandon. We like Brandon, right? Brandon's all right, you know. Welcome, Brandon. How are you doing today?
Great, phenomenal. I appreciate it.
Aw, you're so sweet. It was lovely to meet you
You
a
as
few
well.
weeks ago. So yeah, Julie. So most people start a landscape project. They're thinking about flowers and patios. What would you say that is drainage at all important?
Me or
Yeah.
Sorry, this is
Yeah,
Julie.
so I know. I'm
apologize.
sorry. I was just welcoming her
Yeah.
to the conversation.
No worries.
But yeah.
So drainage for me, I've been dealing with, I would say, 20 years-ish now. Cutting lawns, right? And usually when you cut lawns, you're traveling through somebody's saturated lawn, right? At some point, doing different things, patios, hardscape, right? There's always downspouts, there's always water. So there's always been a need for something more, but you don't recognize it because it's not at the face of it all. So it's one of those type of, services that you just out of sight, out of mind. And then over the years, we've gotten so good with it with different material. Now we're just killing it. We're able to go out there and really solve some problems. We're able to give backyards back to people to be able to use it, create memories. So it's really cool.
It probably reduces mosquitoes. That's what I first go to.
There is some of that too. Yeah. Right. Saturation in the lawns, creating areas where, mainly in the low points and stuff where water is just standing. It's a,
Right.
yeah, that's where the mosquito nest, things like that can happen. So.
Or do a lot of people think it's with the, what do they call it when they do the landscaping
Grading?
grading?
Yeah, so there is that. That's necessary to some degree, but I find that grading is only creating a new low spot. So instead of
That
doing...
makes perfect sense.
that
I would have
makes
never thought of it. 'Cause you're right.
perfect
Because I'm taking it from here and bringing it over there. Now
Right,
what are
we're
you gonna
just
do with it over there?
diverting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we figured out is something in that nature. We'd rather just do like a French drain, and it depends on the property. Every job that we do has to be customized to the location.
Yes.
We did a really nice job in the Oakland Township area, and it was a subdivision, phenomenal homes, gorgeous properties. Problem was that the design was a big hill that was just running all the water right into the property. So you could see it on our website. What we did is we created a 70-foot dry creek, which is really nice because it keeps the aesthetic look to it, but it also helps flow the water from the property into the back swamp areas.
So is that what it looks like? They get all the little rocks are built
Yeah.
up and everything,
Yep.
and it just looks like it's natural.
Yeah, exactly. So that one in particular was really fun because we had over 200 feet of drainage that we installed. We had catch basins and tubes that would just run underground so you wouldn't see them. And it creates a low maintenance project too, right? So they're not looking at it today like, oh, we have to do this or that. They're just dry.
Now, what in the world is a French drain? Why did they call it a French drain? Why is it French?
So that part you got me. I'm not sure why the name is French.
Sorry, I didn't mean to stump
yeah,
the guest.
no,
but,
it's great.
But I wonder, it's like French
take
drain
back
sounds
and
so
learn.
fancy. It sounds very fancy.
It does.
Yeah. Well, so there is some work in it. So I wouldn't. So a French drain. Let's just be clear. You dig out a trench, and typically we will take fabric and we put the fabric in the trench. We backfill it with crushed stone, and now it has to be a particular crushed stone because if
Okay.
it's just anything and it has any type of powder or residue, it can clog the fabric itself.
That makes sense because a lot of times the stuff that you'd put in your driveway, it
Gravel's
does have
not
that,
good.
Yeah, it does have that.
It has that chalky
Yeah.
feel, right? Or that look.
Yeah.
So what we use is a crushed stone. That crushed stone goes underneath. Then we use a perforated pipe. Now, here's the kick, right? A lot of individuals will use things off the shelf. You can't use it because we've found over the years that those pipes don't work here in Michigan. And that's one of the biggest things because, can I show you what I brought?
Yes. Oh,
All right.
gosh, yes.
So here we are.
We love props.
So this
love
here
props.
is a French drain tube. You can see where it's perforated, right? And it doesn't seem to be too crazy. You want to grab that one? Look how light that is.
Oh, it's super light. Like it literally doesn't weigh anything. It's like
Well,
air.
that's good, but it's also a problem because
Right, because
now...
it could collapse.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we have a lot of those issues. Most of the time when we go to repair something, we're pulling that out. Right?
Okay.
And the reason being is because obviously it's plastic, so it's a lot less durable for Michigan, right?
Makes sense.
The hot and cold and freeze line and all that. So absolutely. Now the worst part about it is the rivets. So if you notice everything in here, it collects debris
think
and
it would
builds
trap
up.
it in between those
Exactly.
edges.
Yep. So this comes and French drain in particular, like we're talking about, has the perforated holes, which is for them to slow seep. Now we have new piping that we've learned, which is much better, and it's definitely going to wow you. Because see, this one in particular, it's a little bit different.
Right,
Now
there's
this here,
nothing in the inside is all
no,
smooth.
nice and smooth, so it's easy channel, right?
Okay, so it goes right through.
Yeah, so it goes right through.
It's still light.
Still light,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a triple wall Charlotte pipe. So most of the piping that you see for plumbers are going to be like stage 4 and up, right? This is like right in that category without the cost.
Okay.
And we've seen and found how well this works compared to some of this stuff. Now, this is what we call corrugated. This is no bueno. All right,
Got it,
so
got it.
this is no
But
good at
the other
all.
one doesn't have holes in it, does it?
So this actually, I brought a solid pipe just to kind of show you, but we do have the perforated pipe. Now, what we found with this triple wall is that the two holes on the bottom is where the water flows. So this is a 2-part system when we do a French drain. The water will rise, right? And when it rises, it gets into the channels, and now it starts to go in the direction we want it to go. And now when water comes into our system, it goes through the stone, and it comes back down, and it slow seeps into the surface. A French drain does not get rid of the standing water immediately. It's more of a overnight kind of scenario.
Okay.
But it's not prolonged for weeks.
Okay.
If we're like wanting something instantly, we would use more catch basins. We would catch the water. We would move it with the solid pipe. Again, triple wall. It's super important.
But having the holes in it, my first thought would be, doesn't the dirt get in it and clog it?
No, see, that's the beauty of the French drain, because we do this the crushed stone,
Okay.
clean, and then the fabric. So being that it's kind of what we say burrito wrapped, it prevents the dirt and things from settling inside. So it does prolong, the what we would say maybe saturation.
And you're not going to get roots and things growing through it or anything either.
Well, I don't want to tell you that.
Okay,
Because
well, that's
even
being
with
honest.
plumbers, even with that scenario, if a tree's local, right, they're going
Yeah.
to chase the water. So we don't have the ability to prevent nature from being nature, but we do have alternatives to help alleviate some of those issues. So
Okay.
if we do get into a French drain system and there's a lot of trees local, what we potentially would do is cut some of the roots out, but we wouldn't cut the main lines, right? So that's
Right, 'cause you don't want to
making
kill
sure-
the tree.
Exactly.
You just want to kind of manicure it a little.
Yeah, just a little bit, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's the important part of knowing what you're doing, because we've bumped into some jobs where, again, it's no harm to anybody that doesn't know better, but you don't know what
Right.
you don't know. And when we're being
true.
sold these things and you're going online and you're doing research and these are the parts that are popping up, or for instance, if there's a main product seller, supplier that's pushing this because they bought a bunch and they realize
They just
it's
gotta
not
get
work-
rid of it.
Right. So we've been seeing a lot of this, and what they've done differently is they've changed it from black to blue,
Okay.
but it hasn't changed the course.
What does the color do?
Nothing.
Exactly. Just makes it look new, I guess, right?
Right? I mean, maybe it's a little more identifiable when it's in the ground,
Okay.
right? But for the most part, it's just they don't work anymore. It's just so outdated, I guess we can say.
Now, obviously, somebody walking through their yard and having big puddles and stuff, but when they start noticing the water around the edge of the house, where it can start really, what do you do there? And
So that's the same thing with the French drains, right? What they've trained and taught us is that, the French drain systems can be on the foundation, close to the foundation, or even by retainer walls, depending on how big, because you don't want water resting. So
Right.
even though that we're putting those next to it, it's still getting water there, but you're helping force the water somewhere else, so it's
Okay.
not sitting there for a long term.
Okay.
Yeah, and it happens all the time, just because, especially when you're in some of the newer subdivisions, they're building up. And when they build up, that means someone's low.
that brings up a good point, because I've heard about neighbors that have fights where
Yeah.
somebody did a lot of landscaping, had a bunch of earth dropped, and now they're high, so now the neighbor's upset because, so is there rules on how much you can do that in a neighborhood?
It's all going to be city-based. So we've worked here in Troy for a long time. We've gotten really good with some of the engineers and things like that. We discuss how this works. We've actually had options in the past where we've drilled right into the sewer and we've put our pipes in there to help, because the scenarios happen where there's a homeowner that's had the home for a long time and everybody around is new build. and they were the lowest there.
Oh,
But
jeez.
always remember this: love thy neighbor, right? So even if
Right,
they're upset,
right.
right? So even if they're upset with you, there's a solution. So yes, there might be a grading issue, but we try to refrain from just building up. It doesn't always solve the problem.
At least you're aware of it. That's
Yeah.
very kind.
I like the whole good neighbor thing because,
Yeah.
right. I mean, if
important.
you think about what's going to affect the other neighbor, and otherwise you don't want to have those neighbor wars.
Yeah. Well, that's the worst thing too, is because sometimes what you get is new homeowners moving in and they don't realize the feel it out there.
Well, yeah, you go from one day where it was almost
like
80,
balls.
and it went
Yes.
down to 30 the other night.
Yes.
No.
Right. It's crazy.
Julie's trying to enjoy her weekends in various spots in Michigan, and I worry about her with the weather's
Come
going
on,
to
I
be
just
nice
took the
out.
flannel sheets off my bed. Come on.
Well, she'll get like on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
It's very important to have good weather for Julie's weekends. I
Yeah.
think of her.
Now, we do have some places in Michigan have a lot of sand, but I think
Yeah.
down here we've got a lot of clay. So how do you work with that type? I mean,
So the beauty of French drains and most of our drainage systems is we take the dirt with us. A good solid system, you can't put the dirt back. It's mostly the problem, right? So I would say that a lot of times it is the clay that has created compaction and now it settles. And the idea to put it back would be kind of backwards. So we take it and get rid of it.
what do you do with that?
Can't tell you.
Oh.
No,
You're
so
probably
it's
going to have
really
that other
hard.
person that's got really low area.
Yeah,
and they
no,
want you-
we don't use any of the clay, and it's very unlikely that we're going to use any of that dirt once we pull it out. It's hard to get rid of because not everybody's excited. It's just one of those things that keep getting recycled. But we
Like
use
fill
some
dirt, they call it, something out in the
yeah.
fields and
So
all
we use a
that.
couple local dump sites here in Troy.
Okay.
So basically, they take our problem.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's good, though.
I think Sacra or Socra, depends on how you pronounce it. They were on School off of John R. And I think they just sold, I think they're called Spurt now.
Okay.
But they've always been fantastic with us and taking our debris. So I would name drop them one time.
Totally. Yeah. That's great.
So you do the French drains, catch boxes? What the heck is
So a catch
box?
basin, right? So
Okay.
a catch basin, it depends on size. We always use, we personally choose the 12 by 12 catch basins. And it's just a box that we put in that connects to some of the solid pipes that we use with correct fittings. And then we're able to use that to catch the water and then channel it out somewhere. So a catch basin is
Like in the low area is where you'd put it?
Yep.
Okay.
A catch basin is kind of a step before we do like dry wells, pumps, or channel drains.
That's another one, channel
Yeah.
drain. What's a channel drain?
Channel
We're
drain
learning all
is-
kinds of stuff,
Yeah,
Sue.
you
Yeah,
guys have
true.
seen the channel drains. You just don't recognize it. Now you will when I point it out, right? So usually around a driveway, you'll see there will be a slit in the driveway with a grate, and that grate is usually for the drains.
Okay.
Sometimes you see them more at like factories, stuff like that, where the water has to go, and it's just basically catches it. And what we do is we'll cut out the cement, and then we'll put these the channel drains in, and then at the end of the driveway, so on and so forth, we'll lock in a connector, maybe even a box, depending again on the system. Everything that we do is customized to the home, the property, with everybody, including the neighbors in mind.
That's incredible.
Well, yeah, because you can't really do cookie cutter because, yeah, I imagine every home is different, what
can't.
their needs are, how their
Yeah.
grading already is.
The volume of water matters as well. So, if you have a area where it's just like, oh, we get, ducks in our backyard. Well, that's not going to work. Where we get French drain may
I
not
love
be
the
the only
ducks in my yard.
Aw.
We get blue herons and swans and ducks. And
Do you have a pond?
No, the neighbor does.
Ah, see, okay, that's fair,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
You don't want that in the lawn, though. So the idea with that is either we do the catch basins or channel drains. I mean, we've done pumps, and not to throw other cities out there, but, there are other cities where their houses are so close together. Some of these systems we have to do away with it and go in with the higher powered area of a pump, a sub pump in the backyard in a basin under
Because you
freeze
probably don't
line.
have enough room to have
Yeah.
it really run all that way. You
Right.
gotta, okay. that
So
makes
we
sense.
install a sub pump, and it's usually below freeze line, so it can stay there all winter. And then we will run a line underground that will go towards the front of the property. If the city is fine and cool with it, what we'll do is we'll kick it right to the street so it runs to the sewer.
That's
If
really
not, we
smart.
find a low point where there is a lot of sun exposed, right? Because you don't
Because then
want
it's going to dry.
right. So
Use
when,
nature.
Yes. So we try to pump it out to an area that's not tree covered and things like that so that it can dry up quickly. Because obviously for us, we're talking about drainage, but, Greenline is a one-stop shop. We do everything. So we cut lawn, we fertilize, we do sprinklers. So we don't get to blame the other guy for something not working out right.
No, right, yeah.
Growing up doing lawn mowing, it was easy to blame the FERT guy. And then
Like,
easy to
pros
blame
and cons,
us.
right?
Yeah.
Pros and cons, because then you take responsibility for
Yeah.
all of it, but then you also can control what's really being done to make sure you're looking out for your client,
100%.
short term and long term.
Yeah.
I wonder how many companies just do the short term and
So
then you're
interesting.
kind of screwed.
I will
down the
say
road.
that it's a lot more hectic when you want to be the one-stop shop because everything is trying to keep all the checks and balances. And then, for instance, I'll give you a scenario: aeration, overseed, and your pre-emergent application of fertilization. That's a tricky one because
Say that one more time fast.
yeah, the aeration, overseed, and the pre-emergent application of fertilization. Yeah, I'm
At
making
the
it even a
same
little harder.
time?
Yeah, well, you can't do it because the pre-emergent, what it does is it kind of creates a barrier, right?
Oh.
So that it stops the we say weeds, but let's just be like we are talking about crabgrass,
Grass. Oh,
right?
yes,
So
yes,
everybody
yes.
loves crabgrass. So the pre-emergent is a barrier, and whenever that is affected in any way, such as aeration that pulls plugs, you're breaking the barrier. So the timing part, people don't necessarily understand. It's very mathematical.
So
I
which
guess.
would you do first? You would aerate and then do the pre-emergent?
So we
How
try
would
to
you-
do is we try to get all the aerations and overseeds. All the pre-emergents will be done in late March, early April, right?
Okay.
And then usually we like to try and get all our aerations towards the end of April, beginning of May, kind of on the backside of the second round. Now, sometimes you substitute a second round for a starter FERT, things like that. I mean, it's really...
It's pretty hectic, though,
Yeah,
isn't it?
there's a lot of odds and ends that you want to be careful with because, again, you don't want to have someone come out here and do a pre-emergent. They're paying for it. Then you turn around and you do an aeration, and now you're stopping the pre-emergent, or you're doing an overseed that now the pre-emergent's working against the germination.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so
and
there's
everything
a lot
costs
more.
money.
Yes,
So
exactly.
you don't want to waste, your money
we don't
just
want
spent
it,
on
right.
the
We,
nice.
we got to
yeah.
be competitive in our industry, so we can't just upcharge everything and everybody. But
Right,
it's one of those things that you have to be on it. You have to put work in. It's not just go out and apply anymore.
What's the difference between aeration and dethatching?
Ooh.
Good question.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I'm gonna probably be the one that people don't like to hear this, but the truth is dethatching is bad.
I remember one time our very first house, we did that. We bought the little thing that you put on underneath your lawnmower, and I remember Brian and I sat inside looking out, going, "What did we just do to our lawn?"
And you're
we were
trying to help.
horrified.
Yeah,
we were horrified.
So the dethatching rips everything, even the good lawn, even the stuff we want, right? So it takes away from it, it strips it down, and then not only that, but you're pulling away any of the natural nutrients that the lawn helps regenerate.
My
So a
God.
lot of times we like to leave things when we cut lawn, we let it fly, is what we call it in our industry, because the grass breaks down. It's a natural fertilizer, right? You let nature do its thing, and that's the best point.
So
like,
what
let it do
is
its thing.
the perfect height that you're supposed to cut your lawn at? Because
That's
some
not fair.
people, well, I just know that like
Yeah.
before we bought the house we're in, the guy traveled a lot, so he would cut it down to bare bones,
Yeah.
and then like, it would get too hot, and it would have all these brown spots, and then crabgrass takes over,
Yep.
and then you don't want it too long either because then it plugs up. So I imagine, well, you gave me a range,
Okay.
like a range.
I would say that your best bet is between that 325 and 3.5.
That's a small little margin.
It is.
It is,
You're right.
but here's the key: is if you get it down in the springtime and you start to train it. Lawns can be trained.
Oh.
Right. So you get it down in the spring and you train it. What
Okay.
happens is you start forcing it to grow, and now what it'll do is it'll start to thicken up. It'll start to expand versus just letting the little strands of grass grow long. So I would say industry standard. Most companies are probably going to throw that 275 to 3.25. That helps reduce the work week to week, but we're a lawn maintenance company. We're not here just cutting your lawn.
Right.
So we need to work in tangent with all the other divisions. So that's why we like to stay in that 325 to 3.5 inch.
Now, what about those people that say that every time you cut your lawn, you should go in different directions?
100%.
Okay, but why?
Well, for rutting reasons. So obviously, if you have a push mower, it's a lot less likely that you're going to create issues with the mowers. But for us, and we're doing this with heavier machinery,
Yeah.
it creates divots or creates what we call ruts. So if you don't change it, even the patterns. Now, here's the thing some people don't want to talk about. when they're doing an outline of the property, if they don't separate and overlap or go in and out and change up, they're going to start having divots on the property, right? And usually it's the perimeter, it's the outline of the property, because every week that's the
Yes.
same direction.
Yes.
So what I do is, like, for instance, we'll do this week really close to the bed lines and the fence, this concrete. And then the next week you just go over a little more. Now, most people don't like it because that means you have to weed whip more. But in order to keep the lawn healthy and prevent that, you want to offset. And the lines themselves, now and for the lawn's health, you're changing it. You're not teaching it to grow in one direction. So when guys are just matting it down and going in the same direction every week, if you ever have to go and blow the lawn out because there's clumps, which in the springtime you do, the lawn stands up and you're not able to cut it thoroughly because now it's being trained to grow that way. So changing directions, keeping it at a decent height is going to keep your lawn the most
I
healthiest.
just thought they did it because they thought it was fancy to go
Well, it
diagonal
is.
this side
There is
versus the other.
we have the marketing side of it, so we call it the money shot, right? So if you look on a corner and then you cut a house and you can see it's a 4-way stop, you better aim to the stop sign. I want your attention. So it's a great little niche too. It's because of the
I would have
lines.
never
That's
thought
so
about that.
funny.
And
That's so
secret
funny.
is inside of our industry, we talk crap to each other because you got to have straight lines. If you do not have straight lines, and I know the new wave thing is taking over, but
I haven't heard about the new wave thing.
What's the way?
guys are cutting lawns in waves. And then they're thinking it looks cool. I'm sorry, I'm old school here. No. First off, I'm trying to get things done in a timely fashion,
That
save
takes
you
more
money.
time.
It does
It
take
does.
more
Goes
time.
through
You're
more
right.
gas and everything, right?
Well,
It's
but
harder.
it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
You're taking away
They're
from the
just trying to be
industry.
different, right?
Sure.
Maybe, who knows?
Or the fact that they can't keep the mower straight. Sorry, that's it. I won't do this again.
Well, you never know. I mean, a lot of times they've got the headphones on,
can't
and you wonder maybe
imagine.
they're really rocking out to a really good song.
Oh, you probably. There's been plenty of times when customers heard me. I'm out there singing.
Now, what about when you get those clumps? Are you supposed to? I mean, I imagine you're supposed to rake some of them up, but
No.
don't you really want it
Well,
all to go back down?
Yeah, so we don't rake it. What we do is we call it double cut. So for those properties that need it, we just change direction, cut it twice, things like that. Or what we call is scatter blow. So you get off the mower and you use your blower and you kind of turn the handle a little bit so that it will turn it up and it will scatter it a little bit better. So yes, it is difficult in the springtime, especially when you're fertilizing the lawn. You are the one that turn on the sprinklers, so they're timed properly, and now you're cutting it.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Like, that's a lot of responsibility,
And
is it
we
not?
do that
Like,
to over 1,000 lawns a week, so it tells you something, right?
I can't even imagine. And you have the contract for doing Troy's sidewalks
Yeah.
for the wintertime?
So we've been doing that. I want to say we're on contract number 3. So we started at 8. It was 4 years, I believe, and then now this is we're in
Like
our
the
third
third.
contract, and we do all the city sidewalks when it snows. They call us and say, "Hey, it's time to go. Don't matter when and where, what you're doing. You just drop what you got and you go."
So you don't have to wait till a certain amount of inches.
That's all in the city. So they call us.
Oh, okay.
They'll tell us,
Okay.
hey, it's time to go. They give us a heads up, and then they look for us to have it done within 24 hours after. And we do all the city walks. You'll see us driving the Kubotas with the V plows. We do the city walks. We do like little park entrances and things like that. And not every single place we go to we can fit the Kubota. So sometimes you're hand shoveling, sometimes you're snow blowing. But it's an honor to be able to do that because, as I always say, is like how many people in Troy are now being able to be safe while they still enjoy the winter. And it's tough because you guys can probably relate to the winter blues.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
being able to do things like that, we clean the walkways in front of like Somerset, this and that. So it's still giving people an opportunity to get out of the house and not
Definitely.
feel, they're
And
trapped
to
all
me, it
winter.
says a lot about you that you do this, the city streets
Yeah.
and such, and that they have renewed the contract with you.
Yeah.
Because I'm quite sure there's a lot of the people that are hot and bothered would love to have that.
Right.
Yeah.
So you must be
They've
doing very,
earned it,
very
right?
well.
Yeah.
They've earned
And
it.
just to make sure we're clear, not the streets, just the sidewalks.
Okay,
Just
just
the
right.
sidewalks.
Because
the
then the people will
Kubotas.
get mad at us when we're not there in time. We're like, no.
Oh, you know that plow goes by
Yeah.
and throws all the snow
Yeah.
at the end of your driveway you already cleared off?
One thing we have to be honest though is Troy is phenomenal at keeping things together. I mean, I'm sorry, but being here for the last 12 years doing this snow removal, right? Watching what Troy does, they bring in trucks and loaders. They load the snow off the residential streets and get it. I mean, Troy's residents are blessed with the way that they handle their snow removal.
Good to
There's
know.
other
Good to
cities
know.
that don't.
No,
It's
that's
kind
good
of
to know. 'cause
survive
I know Troy
if you
ranks
can.
really high in a lot of areas.
Yeah.
We just have a few minutes. So if you want to give us a simple test, like when is a drainage issue like a weekend project, or when is it time to call in pros?
So, for instance, if you're going to go out there to do it, I would recommend two things. Number one, using the proper materials, right? As we mentioned earlier about the corrugated versus the solid pipe, things like that. It matters what you're using and where you're using
And
it.
not gravel.
Yeah. So make sure
Yes.
it's not the powdery gravel. But this is something I would think that as far as the labor side goes, it's something you're probably not going to be interested in doing yourself. You know, it just becomes really backbreaking. We're digging, right? And we're not a machine company. So when we do drainage, we don't bring big machinery in.
Because
And
people must be concerned about that. They don't want you to mess up the rest of their lawn by digging it all up with the big tires and all
right.
tread.
Oh, well, there's that. But I mean, for me, I felt like it was always common sense. If there's water and we're bringing heavy machinery,
mud.
what are we doing?
Yeah,
Creating
ruts.
more problems. So we've always used just shovels, handhelds, you know, and stuff like that. Things that are not so heavy,
That's
that
good.
don't ruin the rest of the property, because we're there to solve a problem, not create problems.
Wow.
So unfortunately, I don't know if it's something you could do on your own and, you know, a weekend. I think that you could do it. Absolutely can do it. It's just a weekend
Well-
is probably going to be a very short time. You're going to need a little more. And then you got to get rid of the dirt. So if you don't have a vehicle big enough to haul it, you know, you got to figure out what to do with it. So I think for
Definitely.
the most part, drainage is one of those things where you're just best if you call one of the professionals. And then also, I always recommend make sure you question them. Don't feel afraid. For every client that's out there, question the contractor. We're kind of in a world today where,
good
you know,
advice.
they're right on the front page of everything. It's like, well, if I don't ask questions and you don't get answers, you might not want to work with them.
Wow.
No, that makes perfect sense. You put them through their paces.
Yeah, I mean, well, we've been doing it long enough. We should know.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very, very true.
Thank you, Julie, for introducing us to
Yeah.
Brandon. Thank you so much for bringing him in. We just
Thank
invite
you.
people on that we know are good people, but
I
also who
appreciate that.
do an excellent job.
You guys are
and
amazing.
that we're, you know, proud to recommend you to people.
Thank you.
So, but thank you for coming to talk with us. It's such a pleasure, Brandon.
I appreciate it.
And thank you for watching. It's just been really fun getting
Yeah.
to know like the different kind of, you know, the things that go into it. Like it's a very complex.
Yeah,
right?
it is. The industry is.
Really, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Like I said, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you guys so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you, Julie.
You're welcome.
So
honey.
please watch us again. We'll be back and have another great episode and interview people that want to tell their story, and we want to shine a light on them and just put a highlight on the good that they do for our communities. So thanks for watching Local Community Connections, and we'll see you next time.